Hey boys and girls, you have done a fantastic job with your Virginia Trekkers unit. But we are all finished. We've traveled all the regions and we've reviewed everything we've learned. So now it's time for us to move on. And now we're going to get started on science. Now to get back into things, do you remember our cardinal friend from our classroom? Oh, look, there he is. He's the state bird of Virginia. Now I have a question for you guys. How does the cardinal know when it's time to get up in the morning? Does he have an alarm clock? Do you think his parents wake him up? You're right. He wakes up when the sun comes up in the morning, and both the cardinal and the sun are parts of nature. Now, think about what we find in nature. What are some things when we go outside that we can find in nature? We can find so many different things in nature. Here are a few examples. We can find rocks, lots of water, insects, seeds, animals, and trees, and much, much more. Now, looking at all of these things we can find in nature, what of these things is important to the cardinal? Which of these things are important to us? Let's find out more about things animals and people use from nature. So, things that the cardinals and that we use from nature are called natural resources. Let's take a little bit of time to talk about those two words, natural and resources. The word natural is a lot like the word nature, so let's think of it that way. And the word resources, let me explain it by giving you examples of resources we have in our classroom. Things like pencils, paper, books, crayons, and computers are all resources from our classroom. So they're all things that we use. So if we put those two words together, natural resources, it's things from nature that we use. Now that we know what natural resources are, let's take a look at pictures of some examples of different natural resources. The first natural resource we'll talk about is air. Air surrounds all living things and provides essential gases for survival. Clean, unpolluted air is needed for many organisms to breathe. Our second picture shows a rock. This rock represents the natural resource that are minerals. They range from precious metals like gold to salts. Our third picture shows soil. Soil is a natural resource. Much of our food grows in soil, and many plants that make oxygen need to grow in soil. This picture shows water, and water is a natural resource that occurs in a cycle on our planet. Clean, unpolluted water is needed by all living things to some degree for survival. In this picture, we have two natural resources in one. Plants and animals are a natural resource that provide food sources for other organisms that are consumers. Plants are able to make their own food, and dead and decomposing plants are a food source for other animals. The sun is the last natural resource that we'll talk about. The sun provides us with heat, energy, and light. Without the sun, the earth would be cold and plants would not be able to grow. All right, now that we've seen all of the natural resources, I have a question. Which natural resource do you think is most important for people? Do you think it's air because we need air to breathe? Or is it water because we have to stay hydrated? Or maybe it's plants and animals because we need to eat food every day and both of those things provide our food. Or maybe you could say it's the soil, because without soil, our plants couldn't grow. Or maybe you think it's sunlight, because without the sunlight, again, our plants wouldn't grow. This is a tricky question. So boys and girls, after this video, I'd like you to go on a natural resources hunt in your backyard. Make sure you have an adult's permission first, but you're going to be going outside to see if you can find an example of each of our natural resources. Afterwards, I'd like you to go on Flipgrid and share what you think the most important natural resource is, and make sure you tell me why you feel that way. All right, boys and girls, good luck. See you tomorrow.